Here in number 8, what we want to do is describe how the graph of this function here can be obtained from one of the basic graphs. Now look, this is a squared. So the squared is the parabola. That's this basic graph right here. So let's describe what we're going to do to this one to translate it to this one. So first of all, let's start with the graph of y equals x squared, right? That's the basic one. Now what we'll do is shift it to the right, right? And it's a negative, it's a -2. So I'm thinking left, but I know it's a horizontal translation because it's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to shift it, I'm going to translate it to the right 2 units. So I'll shift it to the right 2 units. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink it or compact it by a half. So what I'm going to do is just multiply each one of the coordinates by a half. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, I'll call it shrink it. Well, let's write it so I can read it. Shrink by multiplying each y coordinate by 1/2. Now the last thing I'm going to do is, because I got that negative, I'm going to reflect across the x-axis. So if I start with this graph here and shift it 2 units to the right, shrink it by multiplying each y coordinate by a half, and then reflect it across the x-axis, I will get this curve right here. Okay, let's describe how to get this graph of this function from the basic function. Now look, it's a squared. So I've got this parabola here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with y equals x squared. Then, from inside, I see a horizontal shift to the right 7 units. So I'm going to shift this curve, shift to the right 7 units. Then, I see the +4, so now I'm going to shift up 4 units. Then, I see this negative, so then reflect about the x-axis. You know, in these 2 steps right here, I think we can interchange those. So what I could do here is I could just do this. I could start with this graph right here, x squared. Then I'll move it to the right, shift it to the right 7 units. Then what I could do is reflect about the x-axis and then shift the whole thing up 4 units. I'm going to get the same graph. Now, number 10, we want to write an equation for a function that has a graph of this shape right here, but shifted 2 units, shifted to the right 2 units, and then shifted up. All right, so let's start with this one here. Let's go with f of x equals absolute value of x. All right, we'll start there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shift it to the right 2 units. Now this is a horizontal shift to the right, so I'm going to put that inside here, so I'm going to get this. Let's go with absolute value of x minus 2, right? We're going 2 units to the right, so it's a minus. Then, what are we going to do? Then, we're going to go up 6 units. So, how about if we do this? Absolute value of x minus 2 plus 6. Now, that's not going to be the f function. Call it something else. G of x. The f function is just absolute value of x. So, there's the function that we're looking for.